Here are the steps that you'll be implementing for signing in. It's a little bit involved, so let's go through each step one by one. First things first, you'll add the correct dependencies to friendly chat for authentication. Second, you'll add a special listener, which is called a auth state listener. This listener is triggered when the user's authentication state changes. An authentication state change is something like signing in or logging out. Third, now that you have this listener, you can redirect the user to log in if they've opened the app and they're not already logged in. So at this point, you'll basically have an app that detects if the user is logged in or not, and if they're not logged in, it'll force them to log in. For step 4, you'll add code which changes the UI to reflect whether the user is logged in or logged out. That change comes in 2 parts. When the user is logged in, you'll have access to their username, so you can use it when they're writing messages to the database. You can also attach the database read messenger at this point. You'll only attach the database read listeners after the user is signed in. This is because an unauthenticated user doesn't have permission to read from the database. And when a user signs out, you'll tear down what you set up in the sign-in, which will mean things like unsaving the username of the signed out user. You'll unset the username of the user that just signed out. You'll detach your database listeners, and you'll clear the message list. And after all that's done, you'll open up the sign-in flow again. Okay, onward to the code. The first step is to add the appropriate dependency. Here is the dependency for authentication, so if you're using any kind of Firebase auth, you'll need this dependency. I'll go ahead and add that to my apps.build.gradle file, right down here. Since you're also using Firebase UI auth, you'll need that dependency as well. Okay, so there are my new dependencies. I'm going to go ahead and sync. Remember to check that the Firebase UI version that you're using matches the Firebase SDK version that you're using. Alright, now that you've added your dependencies, you're ready to get coding, so let's get to it.